Hello everyone. This video you are going to see how to implement radio button in Visualforce Page application in Salesforce. So radio button is very useful utility to design, survey, question answer and lot of functionality in Salesforce. So next page you will understand how to implement radio button in Visualforce Page, as there is no standard functionality, standard meter, standard data type in Salesforce for radio button. So going with next slide, here I have created one PF page which will explain how this radio button functionality works. So here these are the radio buttons and these are the account names and all the details. So we can select only one at a time. So if we select any one and click on select, you will get these details, the ID of the account, Salesforce ID. So if you have the ID, you will have all the account details. So if I copy this ID and paste here, I will see what is the account it was selected. So you can see this is the account. If I have this account ID, I can use the ID in future for all the application. We can fetch all the details of this record and we can work accordingly. So this is how radio button selection option works. So I am going to describe how you can implement this functionality in Salesforce. So how we are going to implement this in Salesforce? We are not going to use any wrapper class or anything, just one list of record. If you are using custom object, you can place custom object name here. This is the getter setter method of the record, and the constructor. First we need to fetch all the accounts. So if you fetch the accounts, you need to write the SQL query here this way. For example, I am going to fetch these columns from account. Now if I try to save it, sorry, it should be new list. So if I try to save it, it will be saved properly. Now I am going to use the same into the page as well, apex form and then apex page block, and in the page block I'm going to have one table. I'm going to apply some style tag here, just simple width is equal to 100% border and everything. And after that I'll be having t body, and for t body as well we'll have the style class, and this is the style class. And if I save it, I'll be able to see. Now I want to have the row here with some style tr, and in the row I want to have some header file as width is equal to 110% for first header and first column, and align text, align left, all the css properties here. And I am placing as here this as select account, and this is the end of th tag. Okay, so this is select account. Now I am going to have all other columns as the same properties with a different width. So I'm going to have this. total I have 1 2 3 4 5 and including the radio button it should be 6. So 1 2 3 4 5 and one more. So this is that, and now I have name, account number, annual revenue. So I have all these columns here, and I am going to fix the width here. So if I try to save it, I'll see that it's account, select account, account name, number, everything is there. Now after that, after sometimes, I mean after fetching the records, I will fix the width here. Okay, account number, for example, account number is there, account, everything is there, so it should be okay, hopefully. So it has total 100%, it should be. So 10 20 30 40 50, and this is 25, so I need to increase another one. It's here, for example, it should be 25 and it should be 20. So total sum is 10 20 50, and it's 45 yet, so I'm fixing as 15. So it's total. Okay, so you can easily see that your account number and annual revenue, I'm fixing this as, this is as 0, so it should be good in looking, I think. So you can see that so this is how we can fix the width and everything. So now I am going to use one apex repeat here. So in apex repeat I will have value as this, and var is equal to acc, and I save it. Now I am going to have one tr with proper css properties and all the columns within the tiers. Okay, so that for each and every account it will be repeated, selecting all the columns. So within the tier it should be one td with proper styles here, and the now we are including the input here. Input value is equal to this acc dot id, and name is equal to, for example, selected account, and type is equal to radio. And this is the end here, and one beer, so it will have a break here. Okay, so I'm including this in this td, that means columns, and we are going to include another column here this way with apex output text as second column is name, then account number, so it should be name, this td end, and I am going to have the same for other account, other columns as well. Yeah, account, after account number, annual revenue, and after annual revenue, number of employees, number of employees. Okay, when I'm trying to save it, I'm getting one error, so I need to have this here. So if I try to save it now, I'll see that I have created the page here. I'm providing one title as available accounts, so that we can have a good looking of the page here. So if we try to select it here, this way it will be available. But how can we have the value with us for this input? So what we are going to do, we are going to write one script here. Before we write the script, we want the record size for the page here. For example, I'm creating one public integer record size get set, and here we are going to have this record size is equal to account dot size. Okay, and we save it. Now in script, what I am going to do, I am going to create one variable I is equal to this record size. So here is one example. We can pass directly controller value to the JavaScript variable by this syntax. So before that, we are going to create one function here, function my function. Okay, so this function should be called. So once this function is called, the I should be populated with this record size. Now I am going to create another variable for selected record ID in box. So just initialized this variable. Now I am going to write one for loop here for j is equal to 0 and z less than I and j plus plus. What will happen, I'll look through all these records here, all these records checkbox where the value I have passed as record ID, and I'll fetch it from the name. So what I'll be doing, I'll be writing here if document dot get elements by name dot get, and here we need to provide as j, and the name should be selected account. So what will happen, it will look through all these records and will check name is equal to selected account or not. If yes, then it will assign the same value to a variable. So which variable, which I have assigned here. So this is equal to document get element by name this one's dot value. So what I have assigned into the value here, value is equal to ID. So it will check for all the input type radio buttons with name as selected account in a loop, and will, if found this checked, then it will assign the value for that record to the selected record ID in box. As these are the radio buttons, so only one will be selected, so we don't have to worry about checked one. So copy this one, and I am going to pass the same to a particular function written within this function. So pass the variable to controller. So I am going to pass the variable to the controller, this variable. So this is the one method to pass the variable which is faced in JavaScript to the controller. So I have the one, we have one video for that, passing parameters to the controller, passing parameters in Salesforce. You can take a look into that video. There are number of variations which have been written for passing variable to the controller. You can easily find out. So we pass this variable to the controller. Here how, now we need to write one apex action function here. So how we are going to write this action function? We will be having one apex param here. So just considering apex param now, where value p1 will be assigned to a particular variable for a function. Okay, so currently for a function, apex action function name as this. Okay, so the value for this function, JavaScript function, will be assigned to a particular variable. Here I'm setting up another variable which is the final selected record ID, and need to allocate one memory for that. So here, sorry, it has to be name and value should be null. So for this we need to have another apex command button, and the event should be on click. It will call this function and it will return false. And action function will have one action here, which would be some dummy methods. You can write dummy method. Okay, and also it will re-render pb2, which I am going to write here apex page block, and with title as selected account ID, and here ID has to be pb2. So one click on this button, it will re-render pb2. So what will be in pb2? It should be apex out to text as final record ID, and so if we save, it will create this method. But before we proceed, we need to be very careful with this. It is very case sensitive, so it has to be in small letter. So all the functionality has been implemented here. We have created this page block and output text. So what is happening, it is calling this method and passing the variable from here, and accordingly it will be re-rendered. And let's check if it is working properly or not. We select this, we can see that account ID has been selected here, and we can use the same in other applications as well. So you can see the selected record here, we have received the ID. So what's happening here, just to explain, in in this here the value has been assigned as the id and name as selected id. So in function they are checking with all the selected record as checked, I mean only the record if the name is this, and getting the value here and storing into the variable and passing the variable to the controller variable. So it's selecting here, so passing has been done from here, action function is being calling and it is assigning to a variable here, and based on this it's re-rendering the page block section. So this is how we can use this uh, JavaScript to control the selectivity of radio buttons in Visualforce page. So this is the code uh, here, from starting from here for VF, and this is the controller. So just very simple, go through this video and try to implement this into your developer edition and work accordingly. Thank you for viewing this video. Please like and comment with your feedback and encourage to create more videos. Thank you.